Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's time for game 2. Fnatic versus Navi, your first of six best of 2 matches. All these games, I can't hold them, Lumi. So much coming your way.
You're just copying Bruno's tweet.
Yeah.
Bruno just tweeted that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I was copying the Invoker Reddit meme.
All right, fair enough.
But Bruno didn't invent that. I invented Bruno.
He invented.
Actually, you invented Bruno.
I did.
If it wasn't for you and me, he wouldn't have gone to TI2.
When you say you and me, it's mostly me, but okay.
I put in a word.
All right,
mostly you. Mostly. Like 95% you.
Okay.
Can I take 5%?
Yeah, you can take 5. You can take 10.
Okay.
I'll give you 10.
10.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Game 2 is now underway. It's Fnatic versus Navi. Fnatic leading 1-0 in the best of 2. Draft underway. Let's go into it.
Navi on the Radiant side, and Fnatic says, you could have the Batrider, but you don't have the Bane. So they took a little bit of time thinking about this. Like, you don't give away Batrider for no reason. So either they have some strategy prepared, or they just feel very confident beating a Bat. I hope they're not mistaken, because it's a Batrider.
And it's one of the stronger bats. I mean, I think especially if it's Fnatic. It's something Dendi does pretty well on, but I'd like to see Dendi go to what he's best at. Quap, TA, Puck, OD. Give him a farmer that can snowball.
Mm-hmm. But Fnatic is going to pick very hard to kill heroes. Lifestealer one of them, Weaver another one of them. They don't have too much lockdown right now, but it feels like the way that Fnatic's drafting is saying, we're not going to lock you down. We're going to run straight at you and force you to lock us down, and we're going to start killing stuff.
They don't. Who needs lockdown if you just can't? If you just like run them down and right click them.
Quantic needed lockdown yesterday.
Yeah. If you pick no stuns and then Navi busts out a Dendi Storm,
yeah,
then
you'll need some lockdown.
Speaking of Storm, if Navi, I'm not sure if they'll want to go for it here. Probably not, but they might need to ban that in this next phase, because if Fnatic get their hands on Lifestealer and Storm, and they've got a Weaver, you can lasso one, Lumi. Can't lasso them all.
Well, the problem with Storm is that it makes the laning stage a little bit sketchy for Fnatic. They have ran Weaver solo mid before. Hani had played that in the past, so you could do Weaver versus Bat, and that isn't the worst lane. You could probably offensive trialing a Lifestealer, and then you do the Storm. So on the safe lane. So I guess in theory that is still a possibility, and Fnatic loves their Storm. So yeah, that is something to be concerned for Navi.
And now Navi's still patiently waiting on that second pick from them. Of course, if you're joining us, it is not a best of 3, it's a best of 2. I see a lot of people don't understand the format. It's a group stage match, guys, so basically they play 2 games. They each get a chance at having choice of side or first pick. I believe the teams are just being given a choice. They're not being automatically swapped. Mm-hmm. So Fnatic opting to go with the Radiant here. It sounded like this was their game to choose. Navi wanted... I think they wanted first pick last game, or maybe it was Dire side. Not sure.
I think perhaps Navi got the choice this time.
I think they chose side maybe that game.
Okay. Navi really much so loved the Radiant side, and that's one of the odd points compared to most pro teams.
Yeah, because there's a few reasons. I think one of the biggest ones is that you can really abuse those Ancients on the Radiant side, and we've seen Fnatic use them very effectively.
On Potom, or Morana, she's called in Dota 2. On Windrunner, she does it. Puppey has some like jungle pulling tactics that they could get Havos a lot of pull camps. On the mid lane, the mid matchup between Radiant and Dire actually favors Radiant a little bit more in terms of the ramps. It's a lot easier for you to gank from the side jungle on the Radiant side versus the Dire. So it's just all of these small differences. But Navi definitely prefers on the Radiant side, and that's why it makes me think that they have selected the Radiant.
Yeah, Navi's not a team that goes aggressive tri-lane too often. They tend to just say, we'll get more out of the jungle than you, we'll get more out of the laning stage than you, and we'll do it playing defensively. And then in the mid game, that's when we come and strike.
Right.
And that's why we love to see Dendi on his Storms, his ODs, his Pucks, the mid-game dominators. But speaking of which, they haven't picked one up yet. They go for the Kuroki Rubik here. Nice choice against Weaver. I think they do need that extra lockdown quite a bit. And if you can steal Sakuchi, it's absolutely game-breaking. So I think Rubik against Weaver and against 2 heroes where you need as much lockdown as possible, great choice for him.
Yep.
And probably with this pick, we'll see them pick up that Dendi hero in the next stage.
Well, maybe they'll wait a little bit on that. Last game, they waited to the 5th pick Magnus. Maybe we'll see a similar storyline here. But I really like Fnatic. They're doing their homework right now, banning out the Bounty Hunter. It's a hero that Navi leaned onto. Fnatic has a really good bounty. I was wondering when are they going to bring it out, but apparently not this game as Fnatic bans it. It's really good against Weaver, really good against Lifestealer for the obvious reasons. But OD gets banned out here by Navi as well.
Yeah, Fnatic, Bounty Hunter ban, something we've seen a decent amount from Fnatic, but there's already a Bat, and generally I would expect Fnatic to play the Bat.
I mean, Dendi Bat is actually pretty scary mid as well.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it too often.
Fnatic don't have their mid. I guess that's the thing, is you don't know what the Bat's going up against. Bat versus Weaver, I mean, he should be able to zone him out of the lane, but you're probably not killing him. So even if it is a Bat mid, I feel like Fnatic can deal with that okay.
I mean, can you ever count on Puppey saying, oh, I'm going to take Bat this game, run it as a 4?
We've seen IG do it.
Yeah.
And in some ways, Na'Vi is very similar to IG, actually.
I mean,
so.
Puppey just, he jungles Shadow Demon, he jungles Storm, he jungles everything, so.
You remember what back before Smoke of the Sea got fixed? When you could, for anyone who's new to Dota 2,
oh yeah, the smoke
you could jungle with anyone. You could smoke jungle with Pudge, with Storm Spear. There was a time when Puppey played Storm.
Okay.
Those days are long gone.
Jungle Storm's a thing, I'm just saying. But, well, we'll talk about those kind of shenanigans a little bit later. Chen gets banned out here by Fnatic, and they pick up a Visage. So I really like this pick simply because it gives them an option. You can go offensive trialing with your Lifestealer Visage and be doing very well in that particular lane. Or if you just want to control the jungle and say, hey, we're going to pull, we're going to make sure we get Era as farm as he was last game, then that's a possibility as well. Visage gives you all of that. What it doesn't give you is a lockdown against a Bat Rider, and that's an issue.
Yeah, they don't have a Rubik Lift. They don't have a Disruptor Glimpse. They don't have a Shadow Demon Disrupt. They have nothing to immediately stop the Bat Rider initiation. That's a bit of a concern.
Yeah.
But they have one more support to go, assuming they want it. Fnatic actually banned out the Puppey Chen as well, which I think is a smart ban if you want to go Visage. If you want to go Visage, you don't want to play against Chen, because Chen doesn't lane, and Visage wants to be in the lane fighting the other supports.
Right.
And on top of that, well, he can't do much against the Chen creeps. Doesn't have the AoE, so I like the Chen ban a lot. It's also just a good ban against Puppey in general, because Puppey Chen. But now Na'Vi enter their next stage of bans. Where do you think they're going to go?
I think they should actually start thinking about the carry. Gyrocopter is still within the pool, although what we saw from the last game is I'm not sure what a Gyro by themselves could do it. We do see a or a Keeper of Light being selected, so that's going to be Puppey's hero.
Is this a PL game?
It could be. I mean, Alliance is a team that is not shy about going Keeper PL, but I actually think this is a Storm game.
Yeah.
You go Keeper Storm just the same way that Rattlesnake did it yesterday. There is just simply no lockdown for Fnatic until, I guess, Lifestealer gets a Basher, but, you know, you don't count on that as a true lockdown.
I feel like either of those heroes would be a big problem for Fnatic right now, because PL, they have no AoE to deal with him, and they have no lockdown to really deal with him, aside from maybe a familiar stun in the mid game. And if they go Storm, well, now the Storm's a little bit more dangerous, because now there's a Nyx. But before that pick, there was nothing to deal with Storm.
Yeah, so, well, there is a PL.
I think maybe if they were thinking Storm, they were leaving their options open. But once you see the Nyx,
You don't go Storm anymore.
Storm is very ballsy at that point, because it's not just a Nyx; it's a potentially infested Nyx.
Yeah,
that's a scary beast.
Well, I mean, let's go back about 3-4 months ago where PL is king.
Take me back, Gloomy.
All right, so PL with his recent changes got nerfed on a split push, and that's where that's his name of the game. So what you want to do against PL is push fast and push hard. But if you look at Fnatic's draft, they don't really got too much of that.
Yeah, their lineup is all about just killing heroes, and then if they kill them, they push.
Yeah.
But I think they can find some kills here. Coddle and PL are pretty vulnerable to those Nyx ganks. I mean, sure, PL's normally very elusive, but if you just... I guess the issue is if you tower dive against Na'Vi, though, you have to tower dive against Bat Rider and Rubik, which are great counter initiators, elusive heroes in the fights. And I like this ban a lot from Na'Vi. If you want to run split push, you don't want to play against Storm, and you definitely don't want to play against Nyx, Storm, and Lifestealer. So they removed the Storm from the equation. What else is out there for Fnatic? They've gone very gank heavy so far. Where do you think they take their draft with this last pick?
I think you just go Honey Quap. I mean, it's a hero that has a lot of experience with. It's a way that they want to play. It gives you the late game extension of a Hex. It gives you good ganks on Phantom Lancer and Bat Rider, or whoever you do want to gank. I think the matchup mid against Bat Rider is a little bit sketchy in terms of Quap versus Bat, but is there another hero that speaks more to what Fnatic like to do?
No, I mean, I think the Storm was the ideal one here.
Right, and
he's got a stun, he's got lockdown. Quap can do well in her lane, can kill a lot of these heroes in the mid game, but also you're picking Quap against Rubik, another great spell for him to steal. Kuroki's Rubik is going to be absolutely essential for this game for Na'Vi. He always finds a way to make plays, but there's so many good spells to steal. Impale, Sakuchi. I mentioned that Team Liquid interview that Hotbid did with him, and I want to bring it up now because I think it's very relevant. He said that the difference between the Asian teams and the Western teams is the Asian teams are better at protecting their spells against Rubik. So, for example, if a Nyx impales, he immediately carapaces. Whereas some of the Western teams, he said they wait a second or so, and that's when you steal the spells. So we're going to have to see if maybe that's just because the Western teams aren't as focused in those games, or if they're actually just not as good versus the hero. How quick will he be on the reflexes?
Yeah, that's something that we don't talk about too much, right? We see Kuroki getting an RP.
What a steal!
Right,
Yeah.
but it's the player on the other side perhaps a little bit slow to react, and Kuroki obviously capitalized on it, but that's something that we can't forget about. But Puck's going to be the last pick up here, so he does okay against Batrider, or whoever beats him. We're going to see Dendy Beastmaster. I'm so excited right now.
Oh, this is interesting. Again, it puts Dendy... Oh, no, Fnatic Beastmaster. So, Dendy Bat.
All right, Dendy
Okay.
Batrider. So,
I think that makes more sense. I like
Okay.
Dendy better on Bat than Beastmaster.
well, Beastmaster, what it gives you on the Dire, or on the Radiant offlane, is that he has a very tough time in terms of getting those Ancient Stack. Very different from the Dire. So we'll see how it goes, unless they do a swap or something.
You know, actually, I like this Puck a lot better than the Quap because it gives you that much-needed AoE and just ganking potential. Like, Quap gives you the AoE, but this is, you've got your Orb, you've got your Sound spammable, and this hero ganks a lot better than Quap. Doesn't need the items, and she's got a stun. She's got a way to cancel TP, so Havos can't just TP out. If a Quap comes on you and you have enough HP, just TP away. So,
and also the big thing that a Puck gives you is that his effectiveness in this particular game is going to be great starting from minute 6 till minute 25 or 50 or however late it goes, because Havos is not going to get BKB. So that Dream Coil will always be a decent lockdown.
yeah, in fact, there's my alarm clock's going off in the other room on my phone. Maybe Kawa can find it, but it's going nuts.
Well, good that it's going off today and not when Ben needed you.
Yeah, I don't know how they. Yeah, that's a funny story. Maybe we'll tell it if we have a little downtime here. But we should introduce the teams first. Fnatic on the Dire side. We'll introduce them now. It's No Tail on the Nyx Assassin. They're leading 1-0 in. I was calling it the best of two. Someone, because it's easy to say. Someone was yelling at me. They've taken one of the two games. Era on your Lifestealer. Trixie on the Weaver. We have Fly playing the Visage, and that leaves Hani on the Puck. And the other thing I like better about the Puck pick, Lumi, just because I think this is an important... I just think the fact they went for that instead of Quap is pretty important, is Puck can jump in and live, whereas Quap jumps in, if she doesn't have a BKB, probably just dies.
Yep. Well, they will find PL here, and PL getting zoned out. The entire Fnatic team just in the Radiant jungle, making sure that they're okay.
And speaking of that Radiant team, since we have a moment, we'll introduce them as well. We've got Havost on your one position. Phantom Lancer going for the early Tranquils, most likely here. Perhaps a Basilius. Kuroki, your support Rubik. That puts Puppy on the Keeper of the Light.
They swapped it back.
And they did swap it back. Fnatic on the Batrider. Dendy on the Solo Mid Beastmaster. And off the bat, we'll have an initiation here. Illuminate comes through. They're diving Havost. They want him to have to skill Doppelwalk, and he may well have to. No, it's Trixie who could be in trouble. 6 seconds to go. Havost is low. First blood to Fnatic. That was unexpected.
A very interesting decision made by Havos. He was
could have skilled Doppelwalk and just ran away.
He was down to actually about half HP, and then he skilled Lance. So I was like, ooh, this is, I mean,
there was a Sentry Ward on No Tail, but it gives you the move speed to just run.
Right. And, you know, sometimes you...
They thought they could turn it. I mean, it was close. It was very close, but Navi just underestimating the burst of Fnatic.
I mean, it was like 80 HP away from saying, oh, great play here from Havos, you know, making the Spirit Lance work, but it didn't happen, so first blood against him.
And when you're running this... So then we look at the tri-lane, and without the first blood, it's always hard to tri-lane against the Keeper of the Light, but now that they have it, they'll have the extra gold to buy some early boots, and Fnatic, at the end of the day, could just leave the Weaver offlane solo. Nami probably aren't going to kill him. They don't have much lockdown here. If they do want to tri-lane with that kill, they'll have a lot more chance at success.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to harass the hell out of him, though. Lances are going to be annoying. Illuminate's going to be annoying. Puppy, unfortunately, did drop one of his Observer Ward or Essential Ward already. I think it actually blocks his own camp. I'm not positive. Obviously, this ward does block the camp as well. So this bottom tri-lane going very well for Fnatic so far. And let's see how Na'Vi makes that laning team. And last game, they didn't really show too much of that. Let's see if they can do it this game.
Yeah, the bottom lane, the lineup that's likely to go for the kills here is Fnatic. Na'Vi, they'll just want to wear Fnatic down, spam the Illuminate, and if Fnatic are just sitting here not getting kills, Na'Vi should come out on top, because ultimately Fnatic have to use regen, Na'Vi have Chakra Magic. That one you get to keep on using. So we can look at the other lanes quickly, just let me know if anything happens. Bottom, we have Dendy mid on the Beastmaster versus Hani's Puck. Generally this matchup seems to go the Puck's way, but Beastmaster should get some farm. Not an easy target to bring down. And then the last lane is the offlane Bat versus Era's Lifestealer. Well, tough matchup for Lifestealer, but ultimately if Bat tries to go on you, you just rage.
Yeah, and you could even like kind of right-click him a little bit as well. But yeah, Era is generally okay in this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Rage does debuff Sticky Napalm, and obviously it blocks all the damage. So even if you have like 6 or 7 stacks on you, you just rage and it removes it.
I'm not sure if it removes it.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Okay.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah.
But I'm like 90% sure it does. Okay. So either way, you're not taking any damage. You can't be Flame Break during that time. That's for sure. So A hard hero to kill, and so far, he's actually gone for an Ooh. This is kind of an unusual item to get in this matchup. Orb of Venom against a Bat is curious.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a tough time actually getting into the Bat Rider, and if he gets into it, he already have 2 or 3 stacks onto you, so it is quite questionable, but I'm not convinced yet.
For the time being, Fnatic, aggressive tri-lane, not finding kills. They got the first blood, and they sit back and farm, but their 3 cores are all doing well. And the Phantom Lance are only 5-0 for the time being. Even the Bat not doing too well in terms of CS. 9-2 on Fnatic as the offlaner. Hasn't found a kill yet. Era boots are online. Getting those early boots makes him even harder to kill. This is looking pretty damn good for Fnatic so far. Navi's not pulling. And when you run, particularly against Navi, they put more emphasis on getting their 4-position player Kuroki levels in farm than I would say almost any other team in the world. And Kuroki's not getting levels right now. They're not able to stack the camps, which is the beauty of the Keeper of the Light. Honestly, this is pretty much going according to plan for Fnatic. They've got to be happy.
And the reason they can't actually pull or stack right now is because of this particular Observer Ward not getting dewarded. And to be honest, if you leave one support kind of pulling, PL is not going to have a good farming time. And that's one of the ways that you could tackle in PL, because you could just harass him to hell in lane. And that's exactly what Fnatic's doing right now.
Apparently I was wrong. It used to work that way in Dota 2, but it got patched. So at least I was right at one point. But thanks Vic Ramon, once again. Shout out to him. He is doing all the in-game stats work. You can follow him on Twitter, at Vic Ramon if you'd like. But for the meantime, passive game. I do want to point out, Dendy's playing magnificently mid. He's 24-1 against Puck. That is tough.
Yeah, actually the Beastmaster aura really helps out in that particular instance. Whenever Puck tries to harass, Dendy wins that harassment war. He's got 5 base armor to Hani, and those creeps are going to jump on Hani with extra attack speed. So
he's like he doesn't even take damage when that Puck auto attack comes out, and I think this is where you really want things like Null Talisman in the matchup. Like you need that extra damage against the Beastmaster.
Hani loves this double no, so do look for that later on once he picks up Intread's double no. Maybe he doesn't go double no this game because he needs to rush the blink, but he generally loves the early game stats. It makes you more survivable, makes you a little bit more spammy in lane.
So, the Enter Beast build, you mentioned how it can help you win the lane. Do you think there's any other reason? Oh, bottom lane will have an initiation. No tail pulled in, but actually it's Havost is in trouble. Dropping pretty fast. The Sentry Ward's in. They need 2 more right clicks to get this kill. They don't get it. They drop a Sentry on the side of Navi, and now Trixie's got to scurry away. Uh-oh. He's low. Fly's driven back, and Havost has done it. Sometimes it looks silly, and then sometimes it looks beautiful. And that time, he baits them out, they find the kill, and they get out safely. Now 2-1 for Na'Vi.
You know the item that we don't see too much? Poor Man Shield on Phantom Lancer. Generally you say, alright, I'll get my Ring of Protection, I'll upgrade it to Basil or Soul Ring. Or
your Tranquil Boots.
Yeah, later on. But that Ring of Protection did a ton of work. Of course, having an early game magic stick as well saved his life. I thought it looked horrible for Na'Vi because the Luminate as well as, I think, the Lance, as we see an open wound up top here, going for the kill here. Era with that oof.
Got infest. Wow, Funnick's just getting zoned off the lane.
I mean, he's got face boot on Era. And Funnick right now has simple boots, so look at him go.
Purge did oh, he's still going.
Yeah, he's going right back here on Funnick, trying to fire over to the cliff.
Oh, Firefly just about to end. He barely gets over. No-Tail, meanwhile, body blocking the camp. Nope, placing Observer to block it again. The 6-minute rune about to spawn. Okay, I do want to give Perch some credit here.
Okay.
He said, why not just ban Lifestealer? Fnatic have like a 70% win rate with the hero.
Yep.
Lifestealer is beating Bat. I mean,
Lifesteal lanes well against Bat, and we're seeing it with.
I didn't actually see if he got pulled, but I feel like it probably doesn't matter. The way Era's playing it is just, how do you kill that hero? You cannot do anything in this matchup.
I mean, a lot of players or a lot of viewers talk about Havost as being the best carry in the West or Loda. Let's not forget about Era. The guy's been carrying quite well.
So for the time being, very slow game. I'm kind of trying to find the pulse of this one, but you look at Navi's draft, and ultimately they just want a turtle and split push. That's really how their lineup's built, and on the back of that, you find some pickoffs with the Beastmaster Roar, with the lasso. So the key items for them have to be the Blink on Funnick, which he's still farming decently towards, despite not really winning his lane by any means. Dendy doing okay, in fact, winning mid, 50-4. Some of that neutrals, he's taking advantage of the Radiant side.
He's also pulling it right now.
Yeah, and you did mention this is one of, Na'Vi prefer the Radiant side, and this is one of the other benefits, is they have the better jungle game for the mid lane as well. Great for Shadow Fiend, great for heroes like Beastmaster as well. They're getting a lot off of their map, despite that top lane and the tri lane not going particularly well.
Dendy was dropping precariously low because Hani, in theory, could have Dream Coiled him and probably went for the kill, but he does have, again, 5 base armor, Stout Shield, and everything else. Back into the bot lane here. Trixie's going to get nuked down here, and he does have the Magic Wand and Strength Treads. Will be fine, but it seems like Havos has found his way back into this particular lane.
And while that's happening, Arrow finding solo kills on Fnatic. So lane's not looking too good for Fnatic, and I think it's fine that he's getting off farm, but he needs to not die, because they do want that Blink Dagger in the mid game.
Oof, doing work.
The Oov is making the difference.
Yeah.
It seemed weird when he had no boots, but now that he's got phase boots, it's really paying off.
Alright, this makes complete sense. And
Eric clearly knows what he's up to. And it's working out well for him so far. 2-2 your score, 8 minutes in. If you're Na'Vi, though, I think you can afford to lose the lanes and still win this game. I think it's the same story as last game. I think this game they've got... you look at Fnatic. Fnatic's got that great mid-game burst and ganky potential, but they do need some things to make it happen. They need the blink on the puck. They ideally need the level 6 on the Nyx, and they're not quite there yet.
They're looking for a mid-gank right now. They're waiting for a Beastmaster Roar, and they want Bat to actually jump in for the second stun. Unfortunately, Hani's checking for a rune, and Fnatic wants to actually play... Ooh, Fnatic, you're by yourself, my friend.
Dendy's not there. Puppy's not there. Fnatic jumps in, but he's got 0 backup, and Na'Vi not on the same page here. Another misfire, make it 3-2. But while that was happening, Arrow was also farming top. So not only does Bat leave his lane, he then dies, and there's free farm going to the Lifestealer. That is not good.
Yeah, also allows Hani to actually catch up a little bit to Dendy's farm getting his blink. My question is, what is Dendy getting? He's up to... Is he getting Butcher Travel? Is he getting Blink Dagger? Knowing Dendy, my guess is Blink, but...
They're going in bottom lane. They've lifted up Fly. They throw him back. He got Lance to the face. He's low. He will end up going down. So they find a nice kill. But to go back to what you were talking about, the choice of Blink, I think with your Bat being shut down like this, it could be a pretty strong choice. Because if Dendy is Blink, then he blinks and it roars. Bat can just walk in and lasso that hero. They still have great gank potential. And honestly, I feel like there are other items that could work this game at a pinch. Necro 3 would be really strong. You've already got Inner Beast. You can just push super fast with the attack speed, the move speed, which does the attack speed does propagate to illusions. But I think he's got a lot of choices here, and I think those would probably be the two I'd lean
Point
towards.
Booster into a straight Axe Scepter. This is as rush as you could possibly get. I mean, it's not bad. I personally think that Axe Scepter is probably one of the most versatile item for Beastmaster.
Beastmaster Ags, I'd say, is top 3 in the game out of all the Ags upgrades.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, well, it's really good against Lifestealer. It gives you the initiation range. Puck might actually get caught off guard because you don't expect it coming from so far. So,
you know what the best Ags upgrade is?
What?
Ancient Apparition. 17-second debuff.
Apparently.
Actually, the one that I like the most is the Lion.
Top lane, though.
They'll jump in on Fnatic. No initiation.
I mean, Meepo's core, right?
Yeah, but his is boring. Oh, cool. You get another Meepo. Whoop-de-friggin' do.
But it's me.
Like, if it made your Meepos fly.
I think No-Tell would disagree with you, but...
I guess you'd have to be a Meepo player to appreciate that Aghanims upgrade, but to me, I'm like, eh. It's like,
Okay.
other Aghanims upgrades give you superpowers. Like, Night Stalker gets flying vision and a massive AoE around him. Meepos is like, you just get a little more of him.
The wraparound gank's going to come against Fnatic. He does not have Firefly this time, and then Dream Cold's going to get dropped, and Fnatic, he is gone.
Yeah, this
is
is not looking too good for him. That's 3 deaths for Fnatic now. And Fnatic really putting the pressure on him. So if you're Na'Vi, you look for the trade, and they go for it mid, but it's No-Tail who got off a Carapace. Dendy blew a roar, and they get nothing. Still no level 6 on that Rubik. 11 minutes in. How important has Kuroki been for Na'Vi on the Rubik? But he's just not getting the levels this game, and it goes back to Fnatic consistently blocking the camp with their bodies, warding it as well, and not allowing Kuroki to get the levels.
Yeah, I really like the way that once the tri-lane didn't go so well on the Fnatic on the bot lane after they started losing 1 or 2 heroes, they said, all right, we'll just leave our Weaver here, we'll leave 1 support here, and we're going to start rotate. We saw Nyx Assassin getting a kill against Batrider in the river. We saw him defending mid tower as Hani rotated up top. It's small rotations like these that allow Fnatic to get these kind of early game advantage against a team that generally stomps the early game. And Na'Vi right now just can't find the rhythm, it seems. The only saving grace for them is Beastmaster is farming his pants off on the mid lane, so that's really good. And more importantly, we do have Havos farming really well on the bot lane now.
Yeah, and you said really well, and people probably see 52 and like, oh, it's not that good. Dendy's got 86, but he was against aggressive tri-lane, and his tri-lane gave up first blood. In fact, he gave it up. So to come back like this is very impressive, and he's got the drums out now, and he'll go for that.
But he's in trouble on the bot lane, though. Look at the Infest gang coming out. That is a quick level 6 on No-Tail. And, well, Havos will spend the next 20 seconds dead in the fountain.
First one called a success, and it is the beauty of their draft. When you have a Lifestealer and a Nyx, the Nyx pick was so crucial for them, because with that, it makes split pushing and just stalling the game way more difficult, not only for the PL, but for anyone. I mean, even the Beastmaster, the Batrider, but certainly this Keeper of the Light. They cannot just park themselves in a lane by themselves. You can't even necessarily sit behind the tower. Kato can easily get jumped there. Speaking of jumps, they'll make it go in arrow. They start with a Sakuchi into a lift. Where's the follow-up? It's not in place, and now Kuroki needs to back off. They went in on the backside. They got the Visage. Now they lasso arrow, but he gets off his rage. Dendi had a DD, not right-clicking him. Now there's a coil on 2. This could be very bad for Navi. They brought Havost into the fight. Everybody descends, and with that additional reinforcement, it is enough. They get 2.
Dendi with a double damage. It's just shredding people apart. And
also, Kuroki with Sakuchi.
Yeah.
How legit is that spell?
Well, Kuroki's gonna. Oh, he gets dusted. He gets impaled. We'll take that Sakuchi back. Thank you very much.
Where's your time lapse out, Kuroki? Ain't got no time lapse.
Oh, and Era, more importantly, I think he's the person that survives, so that's a big deal here. And they want Dendi. Dendi right now is trying to straight up TP out. And will he get the TP? Yes, he does. Very, very nicely done. No tell. He's going to get seen by a Sentry on the ground.
So, in the end, they end up losing a Bat and a Rubik, but I still think for Navi that's a decent fight because the PL was farming right up until the last second. Havost got recalled in. Great. Sorry, I thought he got recalled in. I guess he TP'd in.
I think so,
Coddle's not. He just showed up in the middle of the fight for me, so I was like, well, he must have been recalled in. But Puppy's actually not even level 6, so obviously he wasn't.
Yeah, one of the things that distinguishes
apparently I'm drunk already.
Well, it's early, so we still
I
got
haven't
5
even
more
started
best
drinking
of
yet,
2.
but I'm already drunk.
Yeah. One thing that distinguishes Havost from other European kind of carry players is that he is not afraid to show up like 15 minutes in the game and take a fight, and his team plays it like that. As a result, sometimes he doesn't have the best farming stats, but you know they get more wins. So
I think they do need him in these fights. Funnick not having a Blink Dagger yet. You have some fairly weak, chaotic teamfight heroes like Keeper of the Light who could just get blown up in the midst of it. So I like the fact that Avos joined early. Plus, if they win these fights, doesn't matter if he's not farming because all he needs is to be close in gold, and they'll be fine mid game.
Yep. What they are doing is protecting their early game tower very well. Last time we saw the Fnatic making a very big push, if you remember that, with the Leisler and the Chen and whatnot. This game, they're protecting their tower, and that's key for Beastmaster. You want to protect your early game towers. You want those tier 1 towers to TP too, because he likes to TP, smoke gank, and then just go for kill. Dendi, by the way, he is so close to that Acceptor. This is probably one of the earliest Acceptor I've seen in a professional game.
He's actually going to have his Ags before Batrider has Blink, I'm pretty sure. That's just obscene. That is absolutely absurd.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Fnatic is trying to make himself useful in the bot lane. He has a haste rune, so fortunately nobody actually kill.
Yeah, there's nobody to jump here, but they're protecting Havost. They're securing him some farm. And while that's happening, Dendi, he'll defend this top lane. 50 gold away from the Ags. It's coming soon. The familiar scouting things out. Now they'll recall Dendi. All right. Not entirely seeing things. So they'll push the bottom lane. They'll look for a tier 1 here. The trade will be for Fnatic to take a tier 1 top, but if you're Navi, you are perfectly content to trade, especially for this tower. This tower is important for Roshan. This tower
so
is
important
not.
for Roshan, yeah. It's actually one of the more important towers for Fnatic, but they're going to defend their tier 2, but here comes a hasted Batrider. Oh, they're going to get fly? Yeah, they are going to get fly, but where's the Dream Coil? They need to drop that coil. No coil just yet. Defensive disrupt, and no tell in big trouble as well. Here comes Hani, and Dendi in big trouble. Dendi's going to die, but he did already drop. Hani is low. Hani's going to die to another lance. Nice face, and Havos is looking for the chase. One more lance is going to do it. The lance to the face, and Hani dropping a
Make it 2
here.
for 3, but we're not done just yet. Hang on to your hats. Arrow's joined the fray. Problem is, looks like he's going to get kited here. The tower is denied, but now he's in grave danger. He's got to armlet toggle his way out. Havos giving chase. He's got a lance. He'll throw it soon. The armlet toggle's there. Very nicely played by Era. A flame break as well. Just not enough.
Rainbow?
Even the zap to fly. They just cannot.
Hiroki's going to die to the tower for that zap.
Wow.
Okay.
Jeez.
Nobody was really there, got the EXP, but okay.
So in the end, Fnatic, I think that was a 3 for 3, or was it 2 for 3?
Was
maybe Vic can help us, man. These fights are just ridiculous. Now the top lane, Trixie hunting Havost right now, who's out of mana. Could even die to Trixie. There's their dive. Great awareness from Trixie. Saw there was no mana.
Oh, the roar is gonna come in right now.
There's no roar. It's cooling down.
Oh no. With the Acceptor, that was a free kill.
How often do you see a Weaver kill a Phantom Lancer with basically no items and no detection? That was great recognition from Trixie, keeping a close eye on his mana pool and the magic stick, and chose the right moment to go in.
Yeah, great dive. Dendi also skilled a little bit awkwardly during that team fight. I think he says, "I need a spell now," and he did not roar because maybe roar was on cooldown then. So he needs to get his level 12 quickly.
The only player better than Dendi is Dendi, apparently. At least when it comes to farming Acceptor.
I guess so.
Some Dota stats for you. Still, I think Na'Vi is in decent position here. We're 17 minutes in gold-wise. Fnatic has a slight lead. They do have the dire advantage. Maybe they can sneak a Roche, but like you mentioned earlier, I think the #1 way to judge how this game is going is towers. And right now, Fnatic, they don't have a tier 1 bottom. It hasn't been scratched. The tier 1 mid's completely healthy. As long as Na'Vi keep their towers up, there will be space to farm.
No-Tail is going to eat some people alive. They want Havos. Here comes the dust. Here comes everything.
He stole Impale, though. He stole Impale. Kuroki now looking for the opening, not going in yet. There's your Impale. Clips, too, but there's no follow-up. Now driven back. Era marching forward. He is angry. This ghoul wants some food. Give me your blood, he says. He'll find 3.
He wants a little bit more. The Beastmaster Roar. The stuns are coming in from Fly. 2 stuns, and that's... Oh, the Beastmaster Roar still comes from R. And Illuminate's going to clip.
What?
Puppy gets a double. You said when there was no follow-up? Puppy says, no, I'm the follow-up. I'm the Illuminate.
What is this MLG sniper Puppy that we're seeing now? But Hani's hunting him. He blinks forward. He silences as well. It's the pig that's slowing him down, preventing him for the time being from dying. But at long last, they get the kill. Make it 4 kills in the end.
There was no stuns on that pig, and, well, bad things happen. And now Hani gets a double damage on his rune. I do want to say that this is a second or third time in this particular game I've saw No-Tail walks in a lane that the Lifestealer is in, infests inside, and then No-Tail makes a TP. And afterwards, basically, Era gets a free TP to go wherever
Gotta
he wants
get
to
that
go.
value.
Yeah, you get that
Merlini
value.
is very happy right now. I hear him screaming in excitement from the other room. He's not screaming.
No. He's eating Chick-fil-A.
I'm disappointed by the lack of noise.
I'm actually very hungry right now.
Yeah. But on that note, I'm hungry for more Dota. Na'Vi versus Fnatic, 15-10, 19 minutes in, and I think this tempo is what Fnatic's happy with, but still, they're not getting the towers, Lumi. And you're up against a Blink Bat, you're up against an Ags Beastmaster. It is very hard to force fights. They are finding kills when Na'Vi choose to get aggressive, but if Na'Vi sit back, can Fnatic actually take these towers out?
Yeah, Fnatic, this game and last game seems like their draft is... Well, this game especially. Last game they had Dragon Knight and Chen. At least they could have pushed the tower after winning a fight. This game, not even so. So I think Fnatic need to find some of these early game towers because it really limits the space that No-Tail as well as Puck could start ganking around in. And I'm not sure how they will find these towers, but it's got to come somewhere.
Man, Era's going so hard this game. Already level 14, 19 minutes in.
And he's doing it not by just farming, right? He's actually just ganking his way up there.
Yeah, he doesn't go for Midas. We've seen, I guess, the Black and Fear occasionally will do that lifesteal build where you go Midas, treads Armlet, just like the maximum kind of hard carry build, and just rice away. But Era constantly fighting, farming heroes.
This is really reminiscent of how YYF and Zoe likes to play their lifestealer, the race car build, right? So you just go kill people.
And it's actually super reminiscent because oftentimes you'll see them, they just get... IG's carries and farmers generally don't get that much help from their supports. And Era got no help from his supports, just soloed.
Yeah. Well, last game he had to protect the traveling, but this game
That's
he just kind of 1v1 against Fnatic again on an OP quote-unquote hero. You gotta keep in mind that Fnatic purposely gave away Bat, right? Because they
got Lifestealer.
They banned the Bane Elemental instead of Bat. That's how confident they were against the Bat.
Please give us Lifestealer. And I guess if Na'Vi had banned Lifestealer, they'd probably just take the Bat then.
Yeah, sure. They're okay with that.
So right now it's 20 minutes in. Still, the goal for Na'Vi here is get your Havos Diffusal Blade up. You've got such good map control. Batrider Blink, Aghanim's Beastmaster, and Coddle to move everyone around. Just relocate the pieces on the chessboard. I still think Na'Vi are in pretty good strategic shape. The one thing I would like to see a lot is a gem for Dendi or the Batrider, because I feel like now they've got to be worried about the Nyx ganks, and if you bait 1 or 2 of those with a gem on the Beastmaster, then Fnatic gets scared, and then your Phantom Lancer gets to farm a lot more freely.
Yeah, I think somebody got to buy the gem for him. Then he's definitely buying a bigger item for himself. I think it's a Blink Dagger.
Oh,
no,
he
he's
does
buying
get the
straight
gem.
up gem
I love this.
for himself.
And I love the fact that he's buying it, not anyone else, because he's already massively tanky. He does so much for the team simply by being alive, and getting the gem allows Kuroki to work towards his Blink Dagger. It allows your Keeper of the Light to go for a mech. And speaking of which, Puppy is in a whole lot of trouble here. Maybe not, though. Hold that thought as No-Tail comes in. Now he's in trouble. Havos to fall as well. 3 heroes for Fnatic finding a kill, and that will delay the mech quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, that was a big kill. Although one thing I haven't pointed out is that Diffusal Blade actually allows your Phantom Lancer to be a lot more survivable, because one of the better way to kill that PL early is do Dust. You could purge off the Dust by yourself. The TP comes in. Good thing it got cancelled because there is 4 Na'Vi members just hovering over him.
And so now Dendi, after the gem, goes for... Looks like it might be a Necro Book here. I suppose it could be a Force Staff. We'll have to wait and see, but picks up the Staff of Wizardry. I just love the Necro Book Beastmaster build, but they already have a gem, so maybe not quite as cost efficient as it normally would be. You don't really need the tree site. Still for Na'Vi, the map control is slipping a bit. The tier 1 fell bottom earlier, so now they've only got a tier 2 here. And Havost is forced to farm in the jungle. Like you said, the defusal helps him dodge some ganks, but it's still going to be tough for him. If Fnatic get a gem of their own, if they take that Dendi gem, we could see some big dives.
And Dendi's got to be very careful in how he plays, because I'm pretty sure that he is going to be target number 1. The good thing for him is that really the true way for them to gank him is not there, right? You have to use your Vendetta on Nyx, and he will see it coming in the jungle, though.
Runs into the familiars. That's a triple familiar stun, but there's no follow-up. They got me excited, but there's just no way they're going into that. Thought there was 1 or 2 Na'Vi heroes. There was 5.
Are they thinking about Roshan? Fnatic's hovering around that particular area. The wards are up.
Can you actually Rosh against Na'Vi safely? Maybe. They do have a medallion. They can do it fast, but the problem is you don't want to get caught by multiple hero Illuminate, and fighting near the pit against Batrider is a recipe for... And Hawk.
Right.
You're not sneaking this one on Na'Vi. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, the big difference in this game versus last game is that they had no answer to Era, and right now there is an Acceptor Beastmaster Roar. They have every answer to Era, so... And, of course, a Flaming Lasso from our Batrider. Era is going to finish this SMY right now, and he is pretty much the big fighting force. I think Na'Vi has to play defensive and play safe. Generally, when you have the PL, that is your line of play, and it looks like they're going to take an Ancient stack as a team.
Yeah, Fnatic are the aggressors here, that's for sure. They want to be anyway. Na'Vi, the team that has a PL, and if you go late enough with Fnatic, they've got good early to mid-game AoE. The Puck provides a lot of magic damage, so does Nyx with the Impale. And you've got things like Swarm and Fest. But if it goes late, Fnatic do not have great late-game AoE. So if it goes late enough, I don't think they really have a way to deal with this PL.
Yeah, unless Lifestealer gets some crazy, like, Battle Fairy and Maelstrom or something.
Yeah, I mean, generally, when we see teams go late against PL, they have mass AoE. So they have a Magnus that can give their carrying power.
Right.
They've got a Gyro. They have things like Sven even. But if you give away PL and you don't have mass AoE, generally you want to end the game around, I don't know, 30 to 40 minutes, something like that.
And I really think the clock is ticking against Fnatic. They had a good early game. Arrow was able to shut down Fnatic by himself. Hani got a good, decent time in terms of Blink. But since then, there's really not much.
And now they'll relocate him to the bottom lane, Havos. So Fnatic will take the Rosh. And
or at least try to.
At this point, again, it's a bit dangerous to do it against Na'Vi. But they do at least have a solitary ward up here. They've got some vision, familiar scouting things out as well. If they get caught in the pit, though, it could go poorly for them. Roshan dropping low. The Medallion's there. Fnatic biding their time. 25 minutes in. Na'Vi smoked up, ready to fly. Here comes Fnatic. He'll look to lead the way. Dendi from the sidelines. They're going to jump in. Rosh low. Rosh about to fall. Aegis to Era. Now the fight breaks out. Fnatic still fishing for a lasso. He finds Hani, the perfect target. Blows him up. Era low, but Havos the one on the run. They get him. There's your Infest. 2 dead. The Rubik did fall as well. 1 more PL illusion. Not enough to kill off No Tail. He's running through a minefield of them. Even Carapace his way to freedom.
Even the boar's on him.
Puppey, however, is going to be the one who goes down here. It looks like no TP out for him. He's got everything for the mech except that Rune of Regen, but he'll take a fall in the end. So a pretty big kill there. Actually, he could have disassembled his Tranquils and had mech, but I guess in the chaos of, oh shit, they're Roshing, let's go fight, didn't happen.
I mean, that's a very, very important fight for Fnatic, because that's Havos dying yet another time. Keep in mind that he has died a couple of times early on. Era did not die there. Was able to pick up a
He's 4 and 5. Yeah. He's died a lot this game.
I mean, the first blood early. Remember, Trixie was able to pick him off in the top tier 2 over here. I mean, Havos, you know he's going to farm well. He's a great farmer. But at the same time, he's dying so much that I'm not sure even if the late game PL is... Because every time a PL dies, there's more time for Fnatic to... Alright, we could take it maybe 2 minutes later. Because he's not farming for 2 minutes. So I think Fnatic is okay in a decent position after that particular team fight.
Yeah, they're in a pretty good position now. They have 2.3k gold up on Era. They do have room to scale on these heroes. Hani can go towards the Scythe of Vice. Obviously, your Visage can get an Eggs. It's not like these heroes drop off completely in the mid-game and the late game. But I'm just... Oh, I'm not... I thought Denny was dying there, but just dying to the neutrals. So I'm still not quite convinced that Fnatic can sit back at all. They have the Aegis. They had a great fight. Sure, Havos has died a few times, but he's still getting closer to his next item. He picks up a Vitality booster. I don't know if Heart is the right choice this game because you're up against Lifestealer, and Feast scales based on your HP. But what if he goes for the Manta next, if he goes for Diffusal 2? Butterfly, point is, he is still getting closer to another item. So they've got to keep the pressure up, and this is exactly what they intend to do. Smoked up, Everybody rotating to the bottom side of the jungle. Just perched on the high ground. Kuroki, he wants that blink dagger. No blink for you, Kuroki. Easy pickoff for Fnatic. They're cruising.
Yeah,
20 to 11.
I mean,
complete map control.
You talk about forcing kill, right? Running straight into Roshan pit against a Beastmaster, that and a Bat Rider with Blink, that's really forcing kills. And they did that. Now they get a free pickoff. Kuroki died there so fast, the Soul Assumption didn't even hit him. That's how quickly he died. So, can they get this tier 1? That's the ever, growing question inside of me about Fnatic. Can they ever get towers? Because the only towers they have gotten so far is trades. Because, Na'Vi traded a tier 1 top for a tier 1 bot. They're not getting any tower despite being so much stronger, despite being the better pickoff team. There's a Basher and Lifestealer now too, but these towers, they are like immortal.
Yeah, they got the tier 1 bottom, but that's largely because that tower is just easier to kind of wrap around. There's a lot of ways to flank it, and we'll see a big engagement at the haster in top, but the coil going to be off the mark there. Fnatic able to run away. Hani does get a haste though. Not sure if it's worth the dream coil. It's okay though. Trixie will TP out, and will they actually look to push without that? No coil. There can't be any way they're thinking about it. They do have Aegis on Era, I suppose.
I mean,
I don't know, though. You're fighting without Dream Coil. That is a very important component of their team fight.
Yeah, I mean, Dream Coil works so well against Lifestealer, keeping 2 or 3 people locked down, and they can't run away from Lifestealer because he's so fast. They are going to think better of it and back off. But at the same time, one thing that we haven't really talked about is there is a relic on Trixie. So we're talking about Era doing all the damage, and there's no late game AoE. Maybe the late game AoE is coming from your 50 damage per second Radiance. And you want to use that Beastmaster Roar, you want to use those Flaming Lasso on the Lifestealer, but you cannot forget about Trixie.
This is the old school Weaver build. Vitality Booster, Hood of Defiance, and then you go into Radiance.
This is going back to 2009,
This goes back, yeah, it predates the International one. It was the go-to build at that event. And now the new Radiance is even stronger. They'll find Havost again, keep on picking him off.
Oh my goodness, Havost.
Well, Na'Vi just cannot seem to protect Havost. And now Puppey's going to get called out. Another death, 2 to fall. And this is, I mean, it is what we talked about in the draft, Lumi, is Fnatic not a great pushing lineup, but a great killing lineup. And if you kill them, then you can right-click their tower.
I just want to say that No-Tail is playing so well this game.
Boom!
Oh, the stuns here. Oh, that wasn't No-Tail migraine.
This could be 4.
Double force that from Dendi. He's trying to try to run, but you're not running. Beastmaster Roar gets dropped off. And a Soul Assumption cleans him up. Kuroki's on the run. One hit, about 300 damage against Kuroki. My god. Era is just hitting like a truck now. They will back off. They'll get that tier 2. My god.
The fact that he's been able to steal Impale is like the only thing I feel is keeping them in this game. But now he's going to go down 3 hits and a kill. 3 shot at the Rubik. What do you do against that?
I just want to say that Weaver isn't even here.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that we haven't talked about.
It feels like he's here in spirit, though.
Purge says the rares.
Purge is lamenting his rares. Merlini's lamenting his rares. I told you guys the Na'Vi bet was bad value. Very bad value. 4 rares to maybe win 1? Come on now.
We said 1-1. I said 1-1 Fnatic. But
it's 24 to 12. 30 minutes in. Is this the end? Can Na'Vi defend?
I mean, they are not going to defend this Rex. They're going to try to Era. Keep in mind the Era does have the Aegis, so he's going to be fine. Now here comes Havost trying to try to zone all the support out. Havost is going to get a kill on Fly, so that's decent defense so far. But let's see what Era can do. Era walks back in. Is he thinking about getting the Rex? No, he just... Oh, he sees
wants
the real
Havost. And if he gets 1 bash, Havost is dead.
Oh my
Probably
goodness.
doesn't even need it. There's your inner Bash Lord. Just right-clicking away. Screw actually getting the Basher. Just having a Basher. The damage is all he needs. And now onto Kuroki. Trixie says, oh yeah, I can fight if I want to. He's
got the Radiance now.
He's got his Radiance. This is going to be a lane of racks, and it could well be the game. The tier 1 mid's now in jeopardy.
There's still tier 1 mid tower alive.
And they've taken it right.
There's like, I can't push the tier 1, but okay, we're going to push your base now.
Well, because the game went from Na'Vi just playing their lineup okay, turtling, and, just preventing Fnatic from pushing. All of a sudden, Fnatic get 2 or 3 kills, and the Lifestealer just wins them the game.
Yeah. Dare I say Fnatic out Na'Vi, because this is what Na'Vi does to their opponents,
This is almost Russian from Fnatic. I mean, they
this
are
is not Rat Dota.
How weird is Dota right now? VP flame Fnatic for running Rat Dota, then they go into the Corsair Summer Tour, and for like 2 weeks, nothing but Rat Dota from them. Now Fnatic are going full VP. Tower diving, ganking, aggression. Lumi, I don't understand my world right now.
I love to be in this world. I don't know if we're in a world alternate reality.
We don't need to understand.
Yeah. Just feel it.
And apparently DK is playing aggressive balls to the wall as well.
DK is doing off-lane Lifestealer on Burning.
What is this? What is Dota? This is amazing.
All these feels. Hold my feels right now. I can't...
I can't hold all these feels.
I can't hold these feels.
How do you hold a feel, Lou?
I don't know, but...
what the hell?
This world is not making sense, and Fnatic is cruising right now.
What's amazing is this is only our first best of 2 of 6 today, and we're only one stream of 4. I need like a month to process the group stages. We get 4 days. Sorry, 3 days. Jesus.
Yeah, the only thing I'm feeling sad right now is that I have Dendi on my fantasy league, and he's only earning me 2.7 points this game. Dendi, please, pick it up.
You know, I actually I remember I cast a game with Merlini during, I think it was the Alienware Cup, where he really criticized the Ags Beastmaster build. That was against the Shadow Demon, but I do feel like the Ags hasn't really done anything for Na'Vi. I mean, what have they actually done with this?
They haven't roared the Lifestealer. They haven't roared a Weaver.
I guess if you're always running and dying,
yeah,
it doesn't help you very much.
I mean, I don't want to count Na'Vi out because they still have a PL, they still have Illuminate, they still have their tier 2 mid. I mean, they are going to defend, they are going to draw out the game. And I don't think Fnatic should feel like they have won this game because they haven't won it yet.
I don't think they should feel like they've won it, but I think if they get the Roshi on number 2 and they just play it correctly, they should win.
We'll see.
Don't overextend. Find your pickoffs before you go high ground.
Look at No-Tail. They're thinking about
and
picking
don't
up.
get caught. Do not get caught by the Beastmaster. Do not get caught by the Bat Rider. No-Tails, though, he's the one who wants to jump in. They're baiting out Trixie here. Everybody's prepped behind, and there you go. Your Life Stealer Bomb unloads. They're chopping away. Arrow roared, but barely even taking damage. 3 to fall in a matter of seconds. Dendi's next in line. Scythed up, not long for this world. He'll go Scepter and run, but that means the Radiance, 50 damage a second, ticks him down faster. Fnatic flying by, back to the well for him if he can even get away. 4 dead. Make it 5 if Fnatic can't run. Arrow chasing, and Fnatic's in trouble. Has the blink, has the force. He'll be the lone survivor. Batman lives to fight another day, but Batman is supposed to save the people, not save his own ass.
I mean, No-Tail's better Batman this game because he just jumped in with the Life Stealer, with the Blink Dagger, and just went to work.
Yeah, and this is... Na'Vi are just, like you said, getting out Na'Vi. Fnatic just jumps them and forces the fights. It's incredible because Na'Vi have Beastmaster with an Ag, and they have Bat Rider with Blink Force, and Fnatic are getting the initiation every time.
Yeah, they are.
They're just out-maneuvering Na'Vi. They're prepared for every one of Na'Vi's ganks. Man, you talked about a team coming into a matchup, and if you don't have a game plan for Na'Vi, what are you doing to TI3?
Yeah.
Does Fnatic have a game plan for Na'Vi or what? They have had their number in both games.
Yeah, I mean, this is impressive performance from Na'Vi. I mean, if we just don't know anything about these teams, let's say you are just new to watching Dota 2 and you're watching this game, you think Fnatic is the favorite to win this tournament.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but you'd think they were one of the scarier teams.
Right, right. And Na'Vi is just like this scrub team that is not even doing that well, right? But right now...
But to me, it's less Na'Vi playing poorly. I mean, they've definitely made mistakes, but it is mostly...
Fnatic playing really well.
Really well.
Yeah.
And I think it's... If you can get away with a safe lane carry that fights well early, like a Gyro or a Lifestealer, and he's killing the enemy Bat Rider off lane who's supposed to win almost every 1v1, I mean, that was the start of the problems for Na'Vi. The first blood on Havos didn't help, but it's just been Fnatic executing really well.
Well, now
it's
Roche.
just... You know, it does go back to the question of what kind of style suits Na'Vi. Can they play other styles like this split push, Keeper of the Light, Phantom Lancer, put Dendi on a utility hero mid? I mean, I think they can. It's not like they're incapable of it, but it does feel like it doesn't suit them that well. And they might go for the Roche now. Fnatic jumping in. He's got a Firefly. This could be the last fight. If it goes poorly for Na'Vi, could cost them the game. Fnatic blown up instantly by the Carapace of No-Tail. Now Havos. That's 2 to fall. They want more. Trixie on the backside. They're chopping away. They're slapping them down. And Na'Vi get 2-0'd by Fnatic. 0-2 in Group A. One of your favorites. Team wiped. An exclamation point on an outstanding performance.
Damn.
35-13. Na'Vi just got rolled.
And all of those people that bet on Na'Vi with the rares, they got rolled hard too.
Merlini and Purge are currently conducting a burial service for their rares. But you wanted to bet on Na'Vi.
I thought there was no way Fnatic, but after I saw the first game.
So nobody was right. No, you said Fnatic would win a game, but you were wrong there too, because you didn't think they'd win the series. We actually do need some lights in this room as well, but that will make yourself useful. Blitz is just standing around. I'm like, we need some lights in this room. He's standing right next to the light. Turn the freaking light on, Blitz.
Well, Ben flip-flopped to a 2-0 Fnatic, so I guess he's half right.
Oh god, he just broke. Then he tries to help and he almost breaks the light. I wish you guys could see this. This is too funny. But that's gonna wrap up our first series. Fnatic 2-0, and I mean, we'll talk about this match. I really want to see what Purge and Merlini have to say. But after that, I want to take a look at these groups because I'm very curious how the other streams are
definitely.
progressing.
But Era, big story here. Give him his life stealer, and he just rolls over people. So people that are paying attention to the result of the game and playing Fnatic next, ban life stealer.
And put all your rares on Fnatic, or at least a few. But Purge, Merlini, what happened?
Oh my god. So many people just made a lot of rares.
I know. They're swimming in rares.
That was pretty crazy. Fnatic's, I think Navi's draft was a lot better, personally. They had ways to deal with the Lifestealer. They grabbed Beastmaster and they grabbed Bat. They chose to go with the Bat Rider rather than take the Lifestealer themselves. So at the start of the draft, I was like, okay, they have ways to deal with the Lifestealer that they didn't have last game. But I feel like they never even got a chance to set those up. Like, I never saw a Lifestealer get countered by Roar or Flaming Lasso during a team fight. It was always like damage control roars when everybody's dying. I don't know, like Fnatic skinks were just insanely efficient and good throughout the entire game. If Vos died like 5 times by the mid game, like when your carry dies more than 3 times, it's bad news. Not saying that Havos misplayed, it was just insanely good ganks from Fnatic.
Yeah, the Nyx skinks were just really problematic for them, and they never really seemed to gain a foothold into the game. They were just always constantly trying to not die, trying to recuperate, and just felt like the game was constantly slipping out of the control.
Yeah, and a lot of that was also because Fnatic put observer wards, as was pointed out during the game. They blocked off the pull camp with a very cool ward spot. They did that consistently, so the tri-lane of Coddle, Rubik, and PL didn't get a chance to get any XP gain over the enemy's tri-lane. And since the Lifestealer slightly outlaned the Batrider, I didn't check the CS totals, but he did get a solo kill on him, which is pretty good. And on the mid lane, Dendi broke CS records for a Beastmaster, so Dendi did fine mid, but if the tri-lane just breaks even, and then Fnatic has the better ganks in the mid game, then they're naturally not going to do as well.
I'm personally not a big fan of the Ags Scepter rush, as
Why
LD
do you
was talking
say
about.
that?
I think that Necrobook's a lot better. I don't think you have the opportunity to use 2 roars in a team fight that early, just because no one has like big HP pools. If you roar, you just die, or they die, and the range is not that big of a deal either. It's not like people have blinks that early. So I think in Necrobook, they have 2 invis heroes, and it helps you push. They needed towers early. Whenever they pushed, they just got destroyed. And granted, that's not like Batrider's strength either, but they should have been the ones on the offensive. They have a Nyx Assassin, but if they clump up, Nyx Assassin is generally not that useful, and if you can get the jump with Batrider, immediately make it 45 and then roar any threats, for example, Lifestealer, and just kite them around, you should be able to win the fights. But we never saw any of that happen throughout the game.
Maybe it's because of the really late blink on Bat, since he did have a rough game. I mean, Navi always seemed one item behind what they needed to do what they wanted to do. There was always a late blink on Bat, so they couldn't pull somebody from a tower. Havos' Diffusal Blade was quite delayed because he died more times than he expected in the early game. And every time that Navi wanted to get ready to fight or prepare to fight, they didn't have those 2 items up. And if they had other items up, if they would have had an Aghanims on Beastmaster, and they would have had a Blink on Batrider, and Havos would have had at least his Drums Diffusal, like, they could have tried to take fights with Sentry Wards, but it was always like a passive farming thing, and they didn't have the right people protected from the ganks. And I just loved how the Lifestealer did so well farming the top lane. He shifted the bot lane, immediately got into no tail, and they made the kills happen. So it was like just really, really clutch ganking from Fnatic, and they are looking amazing.
Yeah, it seems like if you make Navi get that far behind, they like have a really hard chance of like coming back from that if you can constantly apply the pressure. And Fnatic did a really good job of doing that. They didn't overextend. They didn't just like give away free kills. They like solidified their lead and never gave it up. And it takes a lot of control to do that, especially versus a Phantom Lancer. And the death on the left side too, on the T2 by Havos, like he died versus Solo Weaver, like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, that especially when you're behind, that just is not acceptable at that point, because you need and they won a team fight right before, kind of, or at least they went even, which was new for the game, and then he died solo, so that was definitely way too much.
So it is only one best of 2. As good as Fnatic looked, as I wouldn't say bad, but as underwhelming as Navi looked, it's one best of 2. They still have a lot more to go for both teams. You get a total of 14 group stage matches, so 12 coming for these teams. Fnatic can't rest too easy. Navi shouldn't get too down. They've been here before.
We'll talk about Navi later. They've been here before. They lost every group stage ever, and they win tournaments. But Fnatic said, sorry, I know you're trying to cut me off.
No, go ahead.
Fnatic
You
says,
know I'm trying to cut you off.
you're like, we're gonna roll those esport dollars.
No, I wanted to look at the groups.
Oh, okay.
And then get my esports dollars.
But Era specifically said, and there was an interview with him in a jacuzzi, which you guys need to watch that. But he said that if we 2-0 our first group, and if we 4-0 our second, or not 2-0 our first group, 2-0 our first opponent, 4-0 or the next
Your first
one,
4 games, yeah.
and they will feel so confident. They just did against Navi, so.
Do remember that Fnatic were Kings of Heroes of New Earth for a good like 2.5 years.
They were king of Dota like 4-6 months ago before Fly took their
And
vacation.
when they actually entered Dota 2, people thought they were a joke. They were getting stomped. At that time, they had Nova on their team, who had been their long-standing support player. They did replace him. And, I mean, this is a team that's been together longer than almost anyone else in the scene, and certainly longer than anyone else in the West, outside of maybe the core players of some teams. But Trixie was playing with these guys as long as like 3 years ago. Hani's been with them for 1.5 to 2 years at least. Again, predating their Dota 2 games. This is a team that's got a lot of chemistry. So if they get on a roll, I think that's one of the scariest teams. Teams that are good friends, teams that have been together for a while, and teams that have a lot of experience playing with each other. Like, if they can get some momentum, I'd be way more scared of them than some team that's having good games but doesn't have that like chemistry. Because when you really have to dig deep, you're in those big main stage matches.
Yeah,
Get a nice back massage from No-Tail, and you're feeling
I want a
good.
back massage from Delta.
Don't we all?
Can I sign up one for
their play was just very clean compared to the matches that we saw yesterday. It was just like, I don't want to say impeccable, but they just didn't make any glaring mistakes and didn't throw away any advantage that they should have had. And like a team like Quantic or Rattlesnake is really going to have to step it up if they want to compete with Fnatic EU. They're in different groups though.
Yeah, so I think Fnatic has a pretty good shot of maybe even taking top four
four,
off
right.
of that. Like, that was really, really impressive. I thought they were going to be one of the probably bottom 4 teams overall, but
Dark horse.
there is no way. After seeing those 2 games, I just can't see them falling that low.
And on that note, do we want to look at our group standings updated, Kawa?
You said ban Lifestealer. They didn't listen to you, Kevin.
They didn't.
Look how
Kawa
they
has
got
a
punished.
microphone now. We've given him a voice. But we can take that away, so use it wisely.
All right, so if we take a look at the group standings, DK, Fnatic EU, and LGD Gaming have all taken 2-0s. Mouse Sports is in their last game versus Zenith at the moment. MUFC
And it's
Navi,
looking very
and
close.
Dignitas took 0-2. Okay, so the game's looking very close, apparently. Surprisingly, not very many 1-1s here. Not able to pull things together.
Well, LD did say it was top and bottom heavy, and it looks like a lot of the.
But I
did not
might have
expect
to
Navi.
I might have to rescind that. If Fnatic's a threat, then I honestly thought Fnatic was one of the bottom. I thought they were bottom 3 or 4 in this group.
So MUFC Dignitas, no surprise, 0-2, and DK LGD China, no surprise that they're 2-0. So-
Obviously, the big surprise is Navi being 0-2.
right.
But it's early. It
And
is
Fnatic
early.
not as weak as expected.
It was also an opponent, though, that you imagine if they prepared for anyone specifically, it probably was Navi, because they've lost them a lot in the past. Navi's Kings of the West. They're one of the strongest teams coming to the event. Can they beat a team they're not as familiar with? Like, can they take down a team like DK, LGD, 2 of the like most solid, stable Asian teams? Fnatic did not go to G1 League, did not go to boot camp in China. They have basically not played the Asian teams at all.